chill, bro. Oh, hey guys, I have been dying to record. I've recorded 4 videos and I've hated them all. Hopefully I like this one and you guys will be able to see it. But I kind of wanted to do like a chit chat, get ready with me, and talk about my labor and delivery, post-pregnancy, things that people have been asking me that I haven't been able to like sit down and really make a video on. I'm going to try and talk about the products that I'm using, but that's just a lot. So everything will be listed down below. And I split my nail. Surprise, surprise, Taylor. Also, if my mouth looks stiff, I had oral surgery last Thursday, so I'm still recovering. My mouth still really hurts from it, but I need to film. So I've already done color correcting and my brows, which I have videos doing both, so I'll link those down below if you've never seen me do either one of those. But for the sake of the video, I thought I would just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna start with the Bobbi Brown stick foundation pretty much. I'm just gonna put this on the places where I feel like I need extra coverage. Mostly like around my mouth, because that's where my foundation tends to like run off. So now I'm gonna take my tinted moisturizer, I promise I'm gonna start talking after this, and put it over my foundation. To start, I'm gonna talk about my labor, which everyone is asking, like the details on my labor. Was it hard? Did you get epidural? How long was it? Would you do it again? Blah, blah, blah. My labor was not hard. My labor was very easy, surprisingly. It lasted about 7 hours. I was like in and out. I was 4 centimeters when I got to the hospital, and 38 weeks when I had him. So 4 centimeters dilated. They decided to keep me, obviously. I was already in active labor, like I was contracting. My water hadn't broke, but when I got there, they checked me and then they moved me up to labor and delivery. When I got up there, they gave me epidural, which didn't hurt at all, which I was scared it was really gonna hurt, but it didn't hurt at all. They gave me a catheter. Hold on, I'm gonna put this up. They gave me a catheter, which also didn't hurt at all. And then they broke my water, which I didn't even know they did, because you don't feel anything once you get the epidural. All of those, about 45 minutes after I got those, I was 10 centimeters dilated. So really bad contractions. From a scale of 1 to 10, they're about an 8. I have a very high tolerance for pain, so I never cried or like balled up or anything. They weren't that bad, but they were pretty painful. So the thing that took me so long was pushing. I ended up pushing for like an hour and a half. That's because my son was face up. He was also crooked, like, so he was kind of like at an angle instead of straight coming out like that. And he had the umbilical cord wrapped around his ankle 3 times. So every time I would push him out, it would like pull him back in. So that's why it took me so long. It was so exhausting. But I would say that pushing was the worst part of my labor. And labor wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. I heard a lot of horror stories about labor. I got 1 stitch, which that was really painful after birth. And like walking is really weird after you first give birth, just because your balance is so off. Like at least it was for me, because my balance was so off, because I'm so used to having this huge belly and I'm walking like this, and then you go back to just being normal, like having no belly and like trying to walk like normal, which just is super weird. I didn't want to be hungry because I felt like if I was hungry during labor that I would puke, and I hate throwing up. So weirdly, that was like my biggest fear. I was like, oh my god, like I hope I can eat, like I don't want to be sick, which sounds really funny, but it's really honestly true. On my way to the hospital, I had contractions. They were like 3 minutes apart, and I was eating anything and everything. I was just trying to eat. Like I just didn't want to be hungry. That was just like not an option for me. I was on bed rest until 36 weeks because earlier out in my pregnancy I was going into labor too early. I did that like 3 times. So finally my doctor put me on bed rest until it was okay for me to have him, which she took me off bed rest at 36 weeks. But then I started like doing more activities at 37 weeks, and he came at 38. So I'm gonna take some of the Benefit What's Up and put it on my GP. My labor wasn't bad. Would I do it again? Yeah, it was like not bad. I think honestly, and it's just me being honest, the last couple weeks of my pregnancy were way worse than my labor. Like if I just had to do labor again, sure. It's the pregnancy that like I don't really want to do again. I do want another kid. I think I want another son. A lot of people are like, you don't want a girl? And it's like, not that I don't want a girl, but if I had to choose, I mean, I'll take either one. But if I had to choose, I'd pick a boy. That's all I know pretty much. So I don't have a lot of little girls in my family. So yeah. Are you gonna come say hi? Doesn't he have like a Hitler mustache? It's getting thick, babe. Is it usually that thick?
I don't know. Alright, babe,
Love you. By the way, I'm just putting this everywhere. My healing process wasn't too bad. Like I said, I had that one stitch that really aggravated me. But other than that one stitch, like I really wasn't in too much pain. I guess there's a couple of things that I wish people would have told me about after birth. One being that you have like this extended period. It just goes on. I mean, obviously for good reason. I mean, you haven't had a period in 10 months pretty much. So yeah, I understand it, but it's just like, I just didn't know about that. They say that your hair sheds after pregnancy. I don't know if that happens to everybody, but it just started happening to me like a few days ago, and kind of caught me by surprise, and I was like, am I going bald? My sister-in-law told me that your hair actually sheds after pregnancy for some strange reason. She said it happened to her, so I felt more normal. Your emotions are like on another level. Like my hormones were like crazy. Like I would just like randomly burst out in tears. It just was super weird, and it made me feel like I was back in my first trimester, because I was very emotional in my first trimester. Like I about cried over everything. I'm not a crier at all. Like I just am not one of those people who just like cry about things. After I had my son, I was kind of like that. Like people could say things and they weren't even really mean, and like my eyes would just start watering. Like I could feel myself like wanting to cry. And at first I thought I had postpartum, which people have it all the time, so it wasn't something that like I was ashamed of. I was actually looking into getting like some therapy or some help for it, you know, because they'll tell you like if you do have symptoms that you should let someone know and not be like ashamed of it. It's not really something that you can too much control. So I thought that's what I was suffering with, because of the way like I was just like having breakdowns and stuff. But turns out that your hormones are just crazy in the beginning of your pregnancy. I mean, at the end of your pregnancy, like after you give birth. So that's what was going on with me. You do have postpartum depression, which is really common in women after birth. You shouldn't be ashamed of it or afraid to ask for help or tell somebody, because it's something that you need help with. Like you don't want to just try to sweep it under the rug, because it's not something that just necessarily goes away. So I encourage anybody who, if you're currently suffering with it or you know somebody, to definitely let them know like you shouldn't be ashamed of it, or if it's you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Just ask for help or find a way to talk to someone or something, because it's not, to me personally, because I know people who have had postpartum, it's not something that you want to just like ignore, just because I've seen, you know, people go through things who have it, and it's just like, it's not something that's really small, or like sometimes people try to make it smaller than what it is, but it's like, no, it's a real thing, and it is really sad. Like, and it's something that people really suffer with. So even just depression in general, because a lot of people downplay depression, but it's like, it's a real thing, very real, and people are affected by that every single day. So yeah, I just feel like people don't take those things serious enough, or they think it's always like you can always control that, and it's just like sometimes you can't control those things. So I don't know, but that was what I suffered with. I had emotional breakdowns, which was I didn't know was so common, but it is. And that stitch had stitch. But other than that, like, I was okay. I did breastfeed off the back. Like, even in the hospital, it was really stressful because my son personally, he wouldn't latch all the time. Like, sometimes he would latch perfectly and we'd have a really good feeding, and other times he just would cry and he wouldn't latch on, but he would like cry like he was starving, and it was just such a tough experience. Like, it was hard for me to just watch him like freak out, and I knew that I could feed him, you know, but he wasn't latching, and it was like kind of like a frustrating situation. But I just didn't give up. I didn't let myself get too overwhelmed with it, even though it is very, very overwhelming. This is just mineralized skin finish and dark tan. I was in the hospital, I really took advantage of having the nurses help me. If you do choose to breastfeed, which I suggest, I think it's really awesome bonding experience, you know. If you have the patience for it, I think it's something that everybody should at least try. But when you're in the hospital, I would say really take advantage of the nurses because they're there to help you. I know the nurses at my hospital were very helpful. Very helpful, and I really appreciated them. By the time it was time to go, I was actually sad to leave them. Like, I was like, no, I didn't want to go. Can you come home with me? Can you stop by and check on me? Like, I really appreciated them. This is just bronzers, it's refined golden. I was always told take advantage of the nursery. The first night I didn't, and I kind of regretted it because giving birth, I gave birth at 7 in the morning, and then we have visitors all day till like 5 or 6 maybe. And then after that, like, it was just me in Orlando and our son Levi. I always wanted to like see him and like be around him all the time, but we were so tired and we didn't send him to the nursery the first night, and we were so exhausted the second day, which, I mean, people want to come and see him, so like you have visitors all day again, and it's just like, if you feel like you can trust your hospital and your nurses, which I felt very, very comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. And that just goes for anything. I would send him to the nursery, and then like at midnight, and they would bring him back at like 3, and he would eat, and I would hang out with him for like an hour. They'd take him back and bring him back in 3 hours. So it was like just enough time for me to get a little bit of rest, which was, it was needed. Trust me. And after having a baby, like, not only are you like physically exhausted, but mentally you're just like spacey. Like, at least I was. It's just, it's weird to see like a human come from you, and then like you're taking care of this human. You never done that before, especially like obviously if it's your first child. Like, it was my first child. It was just a really crazy experience. I enjoyed it for the most part. You know, people are gonna tell you like you're never gonna get sleep again, and that to me is not true. I feel like sometimes people say things to new moms, and I don't think their intention is to like scare them or freak them out, but it's like that's what they do when they say certain things. Like, I know a lot of people are telling me like, oh my god, your life's over, it's all about the kid now, like you can kiss your social life goodbye, kiss your sleep goodbye. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. Like, I mean, maybe it's true like that in some cases, or maybe it was like that for them, but it's not like that for everybody. I feel like I didn't kiss my social life goodbye. I still hang out with my friends, I still go do things. I think the biggest thing about having a kid is time management, and for somebody who didn't have any time management before, it's been an adjustment for me. But like, if I have stuff to do, I can't just lounge around on the couch all day and like, I'm gonna get to it, and procrastinate constantly, because there's times during the day where I do just strictly have to do things for him. Once nap time comes, now it's time for me to do things. Like, it's time for me to get stuff done. So, but that doesn't mean you'll never ever get to do stuff, or like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a reach for people to just tell me that like you're never gonna be able to do anything, and like you can kiss your sleep goodbye. Like, I still get sleep. My sleep schedule is weird, very weird, but I still get my 8 hours throughout the day. Like, maybe it's just not all at night, but I do get it. I prefer to just like do YouTube and be a stay-at-home mom, but it can get overwhelming, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed. I think sometimes people make you feel like you have to just have it all together all the time, and it's like sometimes you're gonna feel really like, I need a break, and that's okay. I think that's okay to feel like that, because sometimes you just need a break. Like, I'll go and like take a shower, read a book, or watch a YouTube video, just kind of like to give myself a little bit of me time. I love being a mom. Yes, I want another child. I think 2 is plenty. 2 is enough for me. But I do want another one in the future. I want to give some time in between them, maybe like 3 years or so. I just have a lot of stuff to do, and doing it with 1 kid I feel like is easier than trying to do it with 2. And I really want to just focus on Levi. Like, I want to enjoy my time with Levi before I give him a little brother or sister. You know, I don't feel ashamed to ask for help. In the beginning, I was like nervous to ask my parents for help with things, just because I felt like, this is my kid, this is what I should be doing. I should be doing this. I shouldn't have to ask for help. But it's like, there are people around you that want to help. And when they want to help, let them. Because you need the help. You need the help. You can't be a super mom 24/7. And if you are, because you have no choice, kudos. Big ups to you. Because it is a real full-time gig being a mom. A lot of people ask me about my pregnancy symptoms, how I knew I was pregnant, and how I found out. I actually was on like a family vacation type deal, and my mom was like, "You're being weird, you're pregnant." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not." She's like, "Yeah, you are, you're just being so weird, I know you're pregnant." And I'm just like, "No, Mom, I'm not pregnant, but thank you." The night I went home, which was like 2 days later, I kind of had a little feeling. I was like, maybe I am. But I wasn't sure. I didn't think anything of it. I just was like, let's just take a test and see what's up. And I took a test at like 3:30 in the morning. It was positive, and I was like, oh my God, I am pregnant. Like, I was so anxious to tell him, but I was kind of nervous. I was like, babe? And he goes, yeah. And I go, are you awake? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh good, I'm pregnant. And he goes, you think you are? Or you know you are? And I'm like, no, I know. I took a test. Here you go. And I handed him the test. He turned on the light, and then we both just sat there for like 10 minutes. And we were like, he got up to get ready for work, and I just hung out with him like the whole time he was getting ready, and he was just like dancing around. He was so excited. And yeah, they were asking me, was I trying? And yes, we were trying. We just didn't know that it was going to happen so fast. We started trying for real in December, and I was pregnant in February. Like, I missed my period in February, so it was like, it was pretty fast. My first trimester was the worst, and it was because I had nausea. I had morning sickness from like 7 weeks all the way to like almost 15. And my second trimester was glorious. I felt like a new person. I had this cute little bump. I felt good all the time. Like, I rarely felt sick. I was not really sick. The beginning of it was cool. The end, by like 35 weeks, I was so over being pregnant, man. Like, I just was big, nothing fit. I was uncomfortable. I didn't sleep good. I had heartburn. My feet would swell every once in a while. That really irked me. My appetite was on and off. He moved around so much that he would like wake me up out of my sleep. Whenever I did get to sleep, I was always tired, like physically never wanted to do anything, didn't want to leave the house. I had just moved back home, and my friends like always wanted to do stuff, and I was just like the Grinch. I was like, no, I don't want to go out with this belly, like, and I just felt so uncomfortable. So from 35 weeks to when I had him, I was just like, get the baby out of me. So I'm thinking about doing like a mom theme video every month. You guys let me know what you think about that. But if you guys have any extra questions, anything I didn't answer for you, leave it down below and I'll answer it in the comments. And if you have any suggestions on other mom videos you would like to see, let me know. If you want them separate from makeup, like you don't want to see me getting ready and talking about stuff, then let me know. If you like how I get ready and talk about things, you let me know. Alright, just let me know. But I'm gonna get out of here before the little one wakes up. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.